As the United States Agency for International Development defined, food security means having, at all times, both physical and economic access to sufficient and nutritious food to meet the dietary needs for a productive and healthy life. In other words, it is the access to nutritious, affordable, and sustainable diets. The lack of food security has always been at the forefront of the major global problems that we are facing, since nearly a billion people right now experience the effects of food insecurity. In the Philippines, Quezon City is one of the cities that are at the heart of an agricultural economy, so the city benefits from a steady food supply. However, poverty and inequity continue to drive widespread hunger and malnutrition in this urban area. It houses the largest share of urban poor in the Philippines, and the COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated the fragilities of the urban food system. Now, given this current situation, it is obvious that a lot of prioritization must be directed towards making the city a food-secured one. In this report, we will be taking a look at the 2050 case scenarios of food security in Quezon City. And the case scenario model that we used is the hybrid scenario archetype. The hybrid scenario archetype is a scenario model wherein the drivers of change can produce four types of futures, namely the disowned, or the future that we avoid, the preferred, or the future that we want, the outlier, or the weird events that may occur, and the integrated, which is a combination of the disowned, preferred, and outlier. The first one that we'll look into is the disowned future, or what we call the insatiable greed. In this one, food insecurity is guaranteed as the result of, first, the lack of income in developing regions, second, is the high levels of loss during harvest, transport, and storage of the food crops, especially in the less economically developed countries. Third is due to the high levels of food spoilage, especially in developing regions, and four is the changing dietary preferences. Also, in this future, there is a growing food imbalance within the city. This scenario is based on the estimation that the global population will have reached 9.6 billion people by 2050, and as the human population increases exponentially, the food production, however, grows at an arithmetic rate, and thus the predicted widespread food shortages. And also in this future, land use change is also no longer an option. Now we will discuss the consequences of this future using four aspects. First one is the food availability, second one is the food access, third one is food utilization, and fourth one is the food stability or sustainability. In this future, food variety will be a rare find, since people will have more access on what's available in the city. Also, higher prices on food crops are expected due to the losses that the producers had in its production process. There will also be widespread hunger and malnutrition in this future, and the food supply will be unstable due to failure of storing them properly and the lack of resources for independent farming or gardening. The second one out of the four futures is our preferred one. Here, food security is guaranteed, wherein the city will have a reliable and consistent source of quality food for citizens, and the city continuously provides and updates information or knowledge on proper preparation, handling, and distribution of nutritious food towards their citizens. Now, this can only be done through the collaboration of the essential stakeholders in implementing programs and initiatives toward a food-secure city. The mentioned stakeholders includes the national and local government units, the private sectors, non-governmental organizations, and the universities or the academic sector. As for its consequences, there will be a positive note on food availability since this future promotes regenerative urban agriculture to decrease production emissions and close yield gaps. Food access in this future is also easy since there will be lower prices on food crops due to shorter production costs, like for the travel, for delivery, etc. Wide range of food products will also be available inside the city itself instead of having a surplus on few variations of food products. Sustainable and healthy diets will also be promoted in this future through proper food utilization, and that can be achieved using food procurement for public facilities like school canteens, hospitals, elderly homes, civic buildings, and more. And also for those who are in need in the city. And more details of our preferred future will be discussed in our QC 2050 vision. Now, for the outlier future, which we term as the unstable utopia, the unexpected thing that we predicted to happen will be the food insecurity, where people end up being dependent on processed foods or even artificially made food crops to survive. This future will be due to the shortage on available land and water supply due to climate change induced catastrophes like extreme drought and flooding. In this future, food will of course still be available, but natural production of crops will be impossible. More job opportunities also might be created in this future due to increased demand in manufacturing, but the income will not be sufficient and will not be enough for food purchase. Also, there might be no shortage in food supply, but most of the available food here will have less nutritional value given that most of it is processed and artificial. The last one is the integrated future, which is a combination of the first three. In this future is where the preferred becomes agile. It is also adjusted to avoid the disowned future, and it thrives by integrating the unexpected or the outlier future. Now, in this future, food security with greater resilience can be further ensured due to the awareness of possible problems and threats to food security that might occur anytime. This will be possible if people will make use of advanced technology, along with the contribution of each stakeholders and taking advantage of the current situations. Also, the increased human population and the boom in manufacturing methods will not be seen as a problem but as an opportunity. Now, in terms of food availability, this future is more advanced and will have a widespread urban agriculture. On the matter of food access, there will be wider variety of food since there are more chances that the crops that were impossible to grow in the city can now be suitable for urban farming through the use of advanced technology. In addition, for food utilization, new recipes and food combinations that provide more nutritional value can be created and can easily be accessible to everyone in the city at the same time. Those are the four types of futures that we envision in Quezon City's food security. It showed a lot of variations and possibilities, and because of that, it reminded us that everything is possible and everything that we do today can have a big impact on our future.